Thank you so much. Ralph walked in, I was like, damn. It's a tall man right there. Thank you so much to John, Wayne, Ryan, all the people involved, Jess, of course, Chad, all the guys, the whole team of 76 Capital for the opportunity to speak here today. Thank you guys for so much for coming. It means the world to me that you guys would at least come to hear me talk and got up early and did that, and so I appreciate that. I played 9 years in the NFL. And the truth about it is that in the NFL you go through a bunch of challenges. You go against, you run up into hurdles, humbling experiences, all different types of things. And it's very similar to business. That's what I've learned thus far in the business world. Football and business are very, very similar. A lot of different things. And so I wanted to, take a couple minutes here this morning to kind of tell you how I got to this point here that I'm at this point, being retired for the last 8 and 9 years, and a couple different things that I wanted to mention to you before I got finished. And so I wanted to start back in 1993 when I was a freshman in high school. And right before that year, I was an all-star in my area, my county, down in Washington, D.C., one of the best hotbeds of football in the country, and one of the all-stars in the Boys and Girls Club, different things, my clubs, and we go out and play all these different things, and I was really, really good at that point. So we go into high school, and I just kind of thought that road would just continue, that I would just continue to be good, be better than everyone else, be the best athlete on the football field at all times. And I was humbled early on. My freshman year in high school, go into the first game, nice white jersey, nice white pants, socks, shoes, everything white, nice and clean. And I played 0 plays, 0. Came out of the damn game and I looked nice and clean. Nice white jersey, white pants, nice white shoes and socks. So I was a little disappointed. Thought I was going to be able to play a little bit, help our team win. Wasn't able to do that my first game. So I was a little frustrated on the way home. I was like, Dad, this is not how we planned it. I was an All-American before I got here, and now I can't even touch the doggone field, not on offense, defense, or special teams. There's almost 180 plays in the game, and I was able to play 0 of those, and it was disappointing. So we go to the second week. I kind of work a little bit harder. Second week comes to the game, 0 plays again, absolutely 0. So at this point, we're riding home, and I'm telling my dad, I just don't get it. I don't understand why I would be put in this situation. They said they wanted me to come to this school and help them find a way to win, and I can't even get on the damn field at this point. He said, man, just keep working hard, you'll be all right. Third game comes, and at this point, I've had enough. I didn't play at all again, and now we're on the way home, and I'm crying. I'm bawling, I'm crying. I just don't understand what's going on. And I said to my father, listen, I want to transfer, I want to quit. I don't even want to play football anymore. And he was like, well, hold on, let me get something straight. He said, you're a Westbrook. First of all, we don't quit. We don't give up. If you start something, you're going to see it to the end. Many of you people, all of us, including myself, we're founders, we're investors, we're part of businesses, and we all hit situations and circumstances that just want to make us quit, that say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. It's too hard, it's too tough. That's the situation that I was in. So my dad said, we're not quitting. So for the next 8 weeks, after every game, I would cry on the way home. Didn't play one play. My freshman year in high school, for my freshman football team, I didn't play one play. Remind you guys, I played 9 years in the doggone NFL, where the average was 3 years for a running back. Couldn't get on the field my freshman year in high school. Come to my second year, my father said it was simple. You need to rededicate yourself. You need to do all the small things that make the great players great. You need to be able to do the things that nobody else wants to do. If they're going in to work out for an hour, you need to work out for 2. If they're doing film study for 45 minutes, you need to stay in there for an hour and a half. If you need to go talk to your coach, go do that. And so I did all those things. And come my second year, still had the same guys in front of me, still probably third on the depth chart, but I was able to play a little bit. The coaches saw the improvement. I got a little bit bigger. They saw the maturity in my body and my mind, and all the hard work that I put into it helped me out just a bit. Fortunately for me, unfortunately for this kid, the starter got in a little academic trouble. They kicked him off the team. And kind of brings me to my next point. There's going to be times where in every business that you're going to have an opportunity, right? You're going to have an opportunity, prime opportunity. Now it's time to strike. The one thing that you have to be is prepared. You have to be ready. You have to put yourself in the position that when you have that opportunity, you can take advantage of it. Luckily for me, I was able to take advantage of it. I was able to play very well. The coaches liked what I was able to do, and they did a good job. So the last 5 games of that season, I was able to start, which is a great opportunity for me. It worked out well, and my father, of course, is patting himself on the back. He's happy. He's saying, I told you, son, all you have to do is listen. Which fathers do. I tell my kids that all the time, and they never listen. My junior year, things continue to work out. I'm working my butt off, just working out harder than I ever could. I knew what it took to be a starter. I knew what it took to be successful playing football, and I ended up being one of the best juniors in the country, getting offers from all the big schools, all those big schools you can think of, Florida State, Miami, Ohio State, all the big schools, Michigan, all across the country, Oklahoma. And so, you kind of start to feel yourself a little bit. I was an All-American my junior year, and going into my senior year, still getting all these handwritten letters from all the coaches all across the country. All the coaches that you've heard of, all those guys are writing me letters saying, we want you to come play for us. And I know you guys are like, well, damn, he went to Villanova. How the hell did that happen? Right? So, of course. So what happened was, back in 1996, went into the summer of my senior year, backpedaling on the practice field, I step in a groundhog hole and tear my ACL. So back in 96, when you tear your ACL, that was kind of like you're done with football. You weren't coming back in 6 months, 8 months. You were a year process, and you had to basically rehab for a whole year, and hopefully you can play again. That's if you're in a college and you have an established name on the pros. In high school, what happens is that you don't get to do your highlight tape for football teams. All the colleges that once wanted you, now they're like, we don't want to touch you because you're damaged goods. And so my senior year in high school, tore my ACL in August 15th to be exact. Thought everything was doom and gloom. Didn't understand what was going on, didn't know the way out. I was only able to play 5 games, so I ended up playing 5 games on the torn ACL my senior year in high school. Had no highlights. Everyone else's highlight film was 20, 30 minutes. Mine was 2. Literally 2 doggone minutes of highlights. And so all those schools that said they wanted me before, they were like, listen, you're damaged goods, man. We don't want you anymore. And I was literally at the bottom, wanting to quit again, not understanding the process, not understanding where life was going to take me. So I ended up playing basketball that basketball season. And the coach walked in. It was probably the best day of my life. He walked in. He said, listen, you'll never believe this. Villanova is here to watch the game. I think they're going to offer you a scholarship. And I was like, well, coach, this is great. I've watched Allen Iverson. I've watched Mutombo. I watched Kerry Kittles at Villanova play. I would be a great Big East basketball player, one of the best in the country. I'm doing all this. And the coach was like, well, hold the hell up. Time out. They don't want to see you play basketball because you're not that good in basketball. They want you to come play football. And I was like, well, does Villanova even have a football team? So they have a team, and I said, all right. So during that process, I'm saying, hey, I got to get strength in my leg. I have to get better. I have to get stronger. And so I did all those things. Going to my freshman year, I played a bunch. We were the #1 team in the country for 10 weeks in a row, ended up losing in the playoffs. Great freshman year. Things were working out really, really well. Villanova was a great place for me to be. Learned a bunch, networked with a lot of different people. Going to my sophomore year, I was an All-American, one of the best running backs in the country. Over 450 all-purpose yards against University of Pittsburgh was the highlight of the year. Great season, and riding high. Things were going great. I overcome so much to get to this point. In high school, got an opportunity to play in college, played against some of the best competition in the nation, and then here comes my junior year, and I tore my ACL again. And at that point, I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was despair, it was doom and gloom, and as in business, there are times where you hit pitfalls, you overcome it. Everything's going well, you hit another pitfall, and now you're like, well, hold on, maybe this ain't for me. I had that same question. I had that same thought process. Maybe this football sports thing is not for me. And I had a conversation with my mother, and she said, listen, is this something that you love to do? Absolutely. Have that question with yourself in business. Is this something that you want to do in the future? I was like, well, I want to. I don't know if my body's not cooperating with me right now. She said, is this something that you can see yourself working harder than everybody else to get back to? I said, absolutely. She said, well, it's simple. This is what you got to do. You got to rehab harder than you ever have. You got to be able to dedicate yourself more than you have ever have. You got to be you have to be willing to sacrifice more than you ever have to be successful. And so what happened after my sophomore year there, I had the surgery. Actually, I tore my knee, my ACL, and also tore my meniscus. So it was even worse than my injury back in high school. So what ends up happening, that medicine's a little bit better, and we worked out so hard. All the different things that I thought I couldn't do, all the fears that I had, I worked right through them. It was a time where I said, I can't do this. I can't run fast. I'll never run a 4.3 again. I'll never be wanted by the NFL teams. I'll never be the guy that people as fast and quick as he was back in the day. And throughout that work process of rehabbing and getting better, getting healthier, I was able to work out all those fears. Similar thing that you guys have to do, especially if you're working through businesses. There's going to be humbling experiences like myself getting injured. There are going to be situations where you're going to say you're not good enough, you're not healthy enough, you're not in the right position, and those are the things you have to work through. So for me, I came back stronger, faster, a little bit bigger as well. I was able to, after my sophomore year, after my junior year, I was an All-American. I was on all the lists for the Players of the Year. Things worked out well. My senior year, I was also able to win what they call the Walter Payton Award, which is the 1AA equivalent to the Heisman. I was the #1 player, offensive player in the country my senior year in college. Things are working out well. I was able to go to and get drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles and play with the greats here, T.O., Brian Dawkins, Donovan McNabb. I was able to learn from those guys. And one of the things that I learned that kind of just cemented all the things I had learned throughout the trials and tribulations of my life was that there's a real equation to success. You put your hard work in. You put your sacrifice in. You put your dedication in. You put your love in it, and that's going to equal success. A couple months ago, I sat down at a summit similar to this, and there was a lot of different banks there and people that wanted to invest in companies just like your own. And they were asking, what's the #1 thing that you look for in a founder? What's the #1 thing that you look for in a company that you want to invest in? I'm sure this is what Wayne looks at as well. And they said, well, we want a founder that is committed. We want a founder that is excited about this cause, excited about his business. We want a founder that believes in it more than anybody else, but he's willing to work his butt off and to do all the things that the other people aren't willing to do. In the process of me being drafted, I was drafted in the 3rd round. I played with guys that were drafted in the 1st round. And a lot of those first rounders, you hear the story all the time. The first rounders, they got it easy. They got all the money, and they got all the success and the shine early on. But it's the guys that in 2nd, 3rd, 4th round that work their butts off just to be successful. They work a little bit harder. That makes all the difference in the world. One of the things that we've seen in business is that there's a lot of people that aren't literally, they talk about being successful, they talk about doing all the things, the right things, and they do none of the things to be successful. They don't prepare themselves well. They don't go out, they don't study their environment. They don't go out and do the different things that make your person or business successful. And then the truth is, I was watching the Masters a couple months ago, and they said out of the field, it's 150 people in the field. Half of those people just aren't good enough to win. They said, so you have 75 left. He said half of those 75 people, they won't do everything that it takes to be successful, right? So you got 30, 35 people left. He said half of those people, after those 35, they don't have the mental capacity to understand what it's going to take in the day 3, day 4 to win. Half of those 15, they're just going to flame out. They can't make it. Then you have 4 or 5 people left. And in this world, the world that we're in, there are people that want to do it, that won't do it, that won't be prepared, aren't willing to sacrifice, aren't willing to go out and do the work, aren't willing to make those connections, come to things like this to be successful. And I'm so happy that you guys are here. So I ended up playing 9 years in the NFL, made a couple of Pro Bowls, a couple of All-Pro teams, great experience with teachers and coaches, things like that. I also found that in the coaching rank, similar to any company, you have to be led by someone that is innovative, someone that's thoughtful, someone that cares about you. And Wayne mentioned it earlier, and I think this is critical. When you're a founder, when you're someone the head of something, it has to be bigger than the X's and O's. It has to be bigger than wins and losses. It's a personal relationship. I met with Ryan and Wayne early on, a couple years ago, and they said, really, we just want to be involved with good people. There's a bunch of smart people. There's a bunch of people with money, but we want to be involved with good people so that when we walk into a meeting, we can say, listen, this is my team, and these are just good men and women that we have on our team. I suggest that to you guys. Two things I wanted to mention before I get out of here, I don't want to take up too much of your time, is that every profession, football, sports, business, everything that you guys are going to hear about today is going to be filled with challenges, ups and downs, and humbling experiences. I went through my own. I talked about some of those things and physical challenges I had with my body, mentally, same type of thing. But you guys are going to be facing all the same type of challenges every single day. And this is in the business world. One of the challenges that I'm going to now, after playing 9 years in the NFL, I retired when I was 32 years old. I'm 40 now. And so now I'm entering the workforce, trying to figure out what does work look like? Work doesn't look like coming in on Wednesday and practicing and hanging out with the homeboys for a couple days and then going to play a football game on Sunday. That's not what real work looks like. Real work looks like 16-hour days, Monday through Sunday. Real work looks like not getting these sleep bags under your eyes, telling your kids you love them, and leaving out the door. That's what real work looks like. So it's a challenge for me. I'm still trying to figure the thing out. One thing I would suggest to you all is to make sure that you surround yourself with good people. Here at 76 Capital, I've been able to surround myself with great people, people that are on the cutting edge, people that are thoughtful, they want to be around great people, and they take care of you. And so I've learned a lot from there. Last thing that I think is critical to be successful in this world, and I'll leave you guys with this, is that you got to give back. And so many people, they give back, they kind of do it in the closet. They never really talk about it. And to be honest with you, I don't talk about my giving very much either. But I was able to, with the help of Jess, put some things together for the Brian Westbrook Foundation. And it's been so important for me because I've been helped by so many different people throughout my career to give back. And it's a moment for you to say, I've been here and I've been in your position as well. And let me help you take the next step. And so with the foundation, is what happened. I bought a horse farm back in 2006. Anybody ride horses? Anybody care about that? Yeah, it's a mistake. Don't buy a horse farm, I can tell you that. If you want to talk about investments, that's not the one to have. I'm trying to sell it to Ryan as we speak. So you don't want to buy a horse farm, but I bought it back in 2006, and we ran it as a boarding facility for about 12 years. And so we were full. We were at capacity. We had 30 horses there at all times, and it was good. We were bringing in not a lot of money, but a couple dollars here and there. And at some point, I found that I wasn't satisfied. At some point, I found that this was not the end game for Brian Westbrook. My legacy, what I want people to talk about after I pass away, wasn't that he owned a horse farm, it was that he helped others. And that so many people helped him, now he has the opportunity to help others. And at some point, you guys, if not at this point, you guys are going to be able to help others as well. And so what we've done with the foundation is pretty simple. We want to empower our youth. We want to teach them the steps to success, and we want to make sure that they can be successful. And so with that, we're bringing in different entrepreneurs. We're bringing in different people that can teach them a trade. We can teach them life skills. We can teach them real estate planning, financial planning, and all the different things that make our children successful. How to be hardworking, disciplined, dedicated, and sacrificial so that they can be successful. And that's the challenge that I give to you guys. Not only to be successful in business, but being successful in your giving life as well, because the more that you give, it's kind of weird, and they kind of say it all the time, and it doesn't make sense until you do it. But the more that you give, the more that you receive in turn. And so I just wanted to kind of share those things with you guys as you go and start your day here with a great lineup of speakers, great lineup of pitches and things like that. Hopefully somewhere in there you may have found a little message to let you guys know to keep on going. You're going to face some hurdles. You're going to face some humbling experiences. You're going to face something in your course. And if you haven't yet, believe me, it's coming. And those are the things that you have to continue to get over. Those are the things that you have to overcome, because those things make your story great and make you who you are. And they build something inside of you that the good times normally can't build. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.